Hi besties, welcome to class. So in today's class, we are going to do a very short and simple tutorial, a very sweet tutorial. So we are learning how to cut Iro and Buba with lace fabric, and so this is the fabric I'm using. So the first thing I want to do now is to cut out the wrapper. Then we are going to use the remaining one to cut out the Buba itself. So for your wrapper, the standard that this person's hip is 40 inches. So I'm using 2 yards and 10 inches for her. Someone that is a hip 42, you can use that too. So it depends. So but this hip is she's 40 inches, between 40 42 inches. So I'm using 2 yards and 10 inches for her. But you know that the edge of our buba for wrapper, the edge, we're going to fold in 2 inches. That's, we fold half inch like this. We're not going to fold it by 1.5. So if I fold 2 inches from each side, that's 4. So altogether I'm removing 2 yards and 14 inches for the wrapper. So I'll quickly remove it now. Then we're now going to cut the top. I'm gonna head to cut out the wrapper. So this is the wrapper. So altogether this is 2 yards and 14 inches. So by the time I fold in 2 inches on both sides, it will be, I'll be left with 2 yards and 10 inches. So you can go ahead, if you like, if you wish, you can put rope. You can use bridal satin doll face and put rope at the edge. When you are done, then you stone it, or you can leave it like that. It all depends on you. So this is the wrapper now, so we're going to keep it aside. Altogether I'm using 4 yards of lace for this. So it depends. The person is very big and the person wants gele, big gele, you can use 5 yards, but it is 4 yards I use. So now when you want to cut buba, or when you want to measure somebody for cutting buba, what you use to divide to fold your buba is actually your largest circumference of your body. So for people that maybe their bust is the largest part of their body, like those with inverted triangle, so use their bust divided by 4. For this person, the largest part of her body is the hips, so we are going to use the hip. And for this particular style, the edge of the lace will be down. So that's why I folded it like this. So all you have to do, you just do it like this, then you fold it again. When you are folding it, make sure you take note of the largest part of your body. Her hip, I'm going to use 42 as her hip. So 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. So I'm going to add extra 2.5 inch. I'll use half inch to sew it, then 2 inches for it to be roomy. You can make it 1.5 inch. It depends on you. We are going to get this. I folded the lace into two like this, then I folded it like this, because there's no joining at the topmost part, and this edge will be at the down part. So how will you get it? The largest part of your body, the largest part divided by 4, then you add extra 2 inches or 2.5. It depends on how roomy you want it to be. For this, the client's hip is 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. So I added extra 2 inches. That should be 12.5. Then I'll use half inch to sew it in. That was why everything now here is 13 inches. By the time I sew it in by half an inch, I will be left with 2 inches allowance. Do you understand? So that's how I folded it by. So this is how you fold your Iro and Buba. Your Iro rather. Your Buba. Can you see it? So there's no joining at this place. Please don't make the mistake. Now let's go to the neckline. You can use 4 by 4.5. What I mean is 4 inches wide, then 4.5 deep. But for me, this lady is not that big, and in fact she has a tiny neck, so I'm going to use 3.5 wide. This 3.5, so if I'm still skeptical, then I'm going to use 3.5 deep. Do you understand? So I'm just going to create 3.5. I will check it out. So you can adjust it. It's better that it should be small. You adjust it to be big than it to be big. When you now adjust it, it will not be too small. So I just created the 4 corner. I will just curve it in. If you have ruler, you can use your ruler too. So I'll just curve it in. Then I'll cut it out. So I use 3.5 by 3.5. Can you see it? So I'm going to check it to be sure that this neck is not too wide. So this is it. So I discovered that the neck is too tiny. So
I had to cut out small again. So it's better for the neck to be small, then you now reshape it to make it bigger than for it to be big. If the neck is bigger, like you cut it too wide, you spoil the boba like that. So I'm trying to reshape it now. So after doing that, I'll just go ahead and check it out, and I feel I'm comfortable with it because the woman's neck is very tiny.
So now that I've cut it now, it's time for me to notch where my arm will be. Now there are two ways for getting your arm length. Nowadays, buba that people do is not doesn't get to the sleeve, so it can be somewhere around here. So in order for you to get it, there are two methods you can use. The first method is to measure from the midpoint of your neck. From the midpoint of your neck, you measure it down to the sleeve where you want it to end. That is method one. Method two is you measure your shoulder, the way you measure shoulder as if you want to make a normal dress. When you measure your shoulder, then you measure your sleeve length. So you add half of your shoulder to your sleeve length to get it. So for example now, my shoulder measure, the customer shoulder measurement is 16. So half of it is 8 inches. Then her sleeve length to where from the shoulder to where the sleeve will end is 17 inches. So what I'm going to do now, I want to get how long my sleeve will be now, is to measure from here. This is like my shoulder. I'm measuring from this midpoint, like as if I'm measuring my shoulder. So my shoulder now, this is the 8 inches for shoulder. So then I'm going to measure the 17 inches. So now this is from here. I have 5 inches, but I'm using half inch to sew it in. So this will be 4.5. So now that 4.5 minus 17 minus 4.5, that means I've gotten 4.5 from the sleeve length. From the 17, do you understand? Let's do it again so you understand. Our shoulder divided by 2 is 8 inches. Let's measure it from here. This is another method. This is 8 inches. Our sleeve length is 17. So I want to measure that 17. So I started from here. I measured it. I got 5 inches here. But we use half inch to hold it in. So it will be 4.5. So my sleeve that is 17. I'll minus 4.5 from the side. So 17 minus 4.5 will give us 12.5, right? So that means the sleeve that I'm cutting now, the length of the sleeve will be 12.5. So by the time I add 12.5 to this 4.5, it will give me the whole 17. Do you understand? So the sleeve length we are going to cut now is 12.5 inches. Then how wide it is. For this person, I'm using 10 inches. 9.5. I added half inch to sew it. That's 10 inches. So I'm just going to notch it here. So if someone is big, you can use 11 or even 10.5. So it depends. So for her here, I'm using 10 inches. By the time I sew it in by half an inch, I'll be left with 9.5 inches. So I'll not notch it here now. I'll measure the 10 inches and notch it. I will also notch this place. Since this is a lace that has hole, I might just use my blue chalk to know where the midpoint is. So that when I want to add the sleeve, our sleeve is 12.5 inches and it will be wide by 10 inches. So now let's cut the sleeve. So we're done with the body of this. So we'll keep it aside. Now let's cut the sleeve. Of course, this edge will be at the edge of the sleeve. So we just hold it like this too. So I've already folded the lace into two now. I want to cut out the sleeve. So I'm going to fold it by 10 inches now. To be wide by 10 inches because the opening is also 10 inches. So I'm going to measure 10 inches. So this is exactly 10 inches. So now remember that our lace, we're cutting it out by 12. The sleeve length is 12.5 inches, but we're already getting 4.5 from the body to make it 17. So I'm just going to make 12 and plus half inch to sew it in. So I'm just going to make it 13. So I'm using this part. I'm using this part. So I'm just going to make it 13. So I'll just cut it out. This is our sleeve length. And I'll also, since this thing will not show, if I notch it, I'll just mark it so I will know where my midpoint is. So let me show you how it will stay. So this is the body of our lace. Let me do it like this because of my small table. And the sleeve will come like this. Can you see it? I'm going to use bias to turn it in, but I'm going to show you on the machine. So let's go to the machine. I turn it in and we are good to go for our Iro and Buba. So from the right side, just open the bias up and sew it round. So just sew it round. So you bring it out, then turn it to the wrong side. Turn it like this now. Now watch this place. When you are turning it, make sure that the lace is coming out a bit. Do you understand? Make sure that this lace is showing a bit. So you just turn it and you sew it around. So this is it. Now see what I was explaining. If you turn it the other way, you see some the lace showing at this side. It's better like that. So by the time the person wears it, your bias will not be showing. So can you see it? So we are done. Now let's attach the sleeve to it. So I'll take one part of my sleeve. Remember that I chalked it blue, and so this is the blue here. So all I have to do, this is one way of doing it. I'll just match it. If it is Ankara, you can notch it, but this one is lace. If I notch it, there is hole. So I've matched it like this. So I'm just going to hold it by half an inch. So I'll do for this side, do for the other side too.
Now that I've finished attaching the sleeve, it's time to close up the buba. So all I have to do now is to just hold the sleeve together. I'll do one sleeve, then you use that to do the other sleeve. So I'll just hold the sleeve together. I'll make sure that everywhere is well aligned and the armhole is matching each other. If I've discovered that it's matching each other, I'll just hold it by half inch. So I'll just go ahead and sew it by half an inch. I'll make sure that armhole they are well aligned. Just sew it by half an inch, and at the edge I'll open it up by 4 inch. So I won't sew it, I won't close it entirely. I'll open it up by 4 inches, so there will be opening. So I'll do the same for the other side. So after closing the two sides, now time for us to now turn in our slit. So that 4 inch opening, so you just fold it into two, then use it to do a tiny slit. So there will be two slits at the side by 4 inches. You can use 3 inches too. It depends on how roomy your buba is. If your buba is very roomy, you might not even need the slit, but you just give it a very nice style and shape. So that's why I'm putting the slit. So I'm just going to put it. So now this is the final result of our buba. Can you see how beautiful it looks? So I off camera I actually went ahead to put rope in my wrapper, so you can do that too. Kindly like, share and drop your comments. Take care. Bye.